Hi LEGO fans! I'm back with another classic LEGO Harry Potter restoration, speed build and review video. This time we're going back to 2010 and it's a stonker. This set may look bright and shiny and new, but that wasn't always the case. I'm future Jeremy Herbert and I've just spent ages cleaning, finding all the right bits, rebuilding and lovingly restoring this fantastic set. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's wind the clock back a couple of weeks. What you see here is the flagship LEGO Harry Potter release from 2010. This has been on display for many years and apart from losing a few pieces, it's now dustier than 12 Grimmauld Place. I can't possibly show it to you like this. So today I'm going to be dismantling, cleaning, speed building and reviewing a fully restored 4842 Hogwarts Castle from LEGO Harry Potter. This set was released in 2010 and sold for about $130 or 103 Great British pounds. The part count is 1,290 pieces and includes 11 minifigures. Professor Minerva McGonagall, who was exclusive to this set and is now worth about $12 used. Next we have Harry James Potter, who appeared in 7 sets and is worth practically nothing. Hermione Granger was also popular, appearing in 3 sets and she's worth a couple of bucks. Half-Goblin Filius Flitwick Flitwick is a little bit more desirable, he's exclusive to this set and he's worth about $4. Bad-tempered squib Argus Filch is also exclusive and worth about $5. Voldemort was also pretty common, appearing in 2 sets and he's worth about $3. Professor Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore is a little bit more collectible. He did appear in 2 sets but he's worth about $5. Exactly the same goes for Professor Severus Snape, 2 sets, about $5. Notoriously fragile, we also get 2 Dementors, which are each worth about $5. If I've done my math right, there are 10 figures in front of you and 1 missing. Located inside the castle is the Gryffindor Knight Statue, which is an exclusive to this set and worth about $4. So in total, with used values, we've got about $55 in minifigures alone. Probably a lot more if you're buying them on eBay. The 1,290 piece part count also includes a bunch of animals. We've got Filch's cat Mrs. Norris, a rat, a bat, a parliament of owls, a frog, some snakes, a spider, and that most wizardly of animals, the turkey. The 4842 Hogwarts Castle also has a sumptuous interior. Features include the Great Hall, the Owlery, the Astronomy Tower, Dumbledore's office, and we even get the sorting hat up in the attic. I'm going to show you around the whole of Hogwarts in intricate detail. We're also going to be taking a look at each one of these minifigures and uncovering some little secrets. But I can't possibly show this set to you in this condition. So let's tear this thing apart and start over. Cleaning and sanitising LEGO sets is surprisingly easy. The trick is plenty of warm water and some biological detergent. I soaked the set for a few hours, agitating occasionally to get rid of all of the dust and the grime. Then you give it a good old rinse, a quick spin in a salad spinner to speed up the drying process, and then leave the pieces to dry on a towel in a warm place. The result is a big clean pile of LEGO bricks. But that's going to be no fun for future Jeremy to review, so we better rebuild this thing. I'm going to give the time turner a couple of twists, and today this is going to be a 90-second speed build! And here is the completed 1,290 piece 4842 Hogwarts Castle from 2010. Doesn't it look nice and shiny after a good wash? Build time today was 3 hours and 40 minutes, but we were working without the benefit of numbered bags and also from a PDF version of the instructions on a laptop. One slight problem with this set is that it does have a big footprint. You'll need a lot of space to display it. But at least with the flexibility in how you can connect this together, you do have some options. As well as being a visually stunning set, it also has a fantastic collection of minifigures. We're going to take a close-up look at each one of these later in the video. Before that, I think an in-depth tour of Hogwarts Castle is in order. We'll be taking a look at all of the exterior features, the sumptuous interiors, and uncovering some secrets along the way. And of course, as promised, we'll wrap up today's review with a look at those minifigures. With the minifigures out of the way, you can appreciate the true majesty of this build. But the exterior is only half of the picture. There are also a bunch of interior features to explore. Thankfully, to make this set easier to review, we can break it down into sections. There's no real best place to start with this model, so I'm going to start right here. This appears to be the main entrance to Hogwarts Castle, and I'm almost surprised there's not a clock mounted on the front. Instead, we get a 2x2 printed tile representing the 4 houses of Hogwarts. This includes depictions of all the house mascots. A lion for Gryffindor, a snake for Slytherin, a badger for Hufflepuff, and Ravenclaw should be pretty obvious, except it isn't. The Ravenclaw house animal is an eagle, not a raven. The eagle is meant to represent that Ravenclaws soar where others can't climb. Whilst clearly not an accurate recreation of Hogwarts, I imagine this is the part of the castle that overlooks the cloistered courtyard. There's a working front door, and this is illuminated by a torch complete with trans-orange fire element. Above the door is an elegant canopy in this snot green colour, which is synonymous with LEGO Hogwarts. Larger panels complete with stickers pick out some of the stonework, and if my limited architecture knowledge serves me well, we do have 6 lancet windows. These are fitted with lattice panels and can be opened if that's your thing. If you want to customise your Hogwarts layout, we do have connection points here, and also around the other side. The top of the tower is nicely decorated with crenellations, green coloured spires, and a bunch of these cone pieces. On top of one of those, you'll also find a LEGO bat. As we move around to the interior, I did want to point out the open sides here. This is really neat because it allows some light to enter the castle, and also gives you somewhere to poke your fingers when you want to grab something from inside. The entrance hall is pretty much overwhelmed by this large spiral staircase. Like many of the staircases at Hogwarts, this can actually be folded away. It makes it that little bit easier to peer inside, and we're rewarded with a shield that was awarded to Seeker James Potter. James was of course Harry's dad until Voldemort came along, and it's good to see that J.K. Rowling saw fit to trademark his name. This picture is presumably a reference to the picture of drunk monks which hangs in the Charms corridor at Hogwarts. For a bonus fact, during the Christmas holidays in 1996, the fat lady and her friend Violet consumed all of the wine in the monk's picture. She didn't feel at all well after this and changed the password to Gryffindor Tower to abstinence. This picture is less familiar but seems to show a wizard holding a rat. Moving the staircase out of the way, you might just be able to see the chest in the corner. This is removable with some care and seems to contain some goodies. Inside is a trans-red crystal and a 2x2 tile. The 2x2 tile reads, "You are far more powerful than you would ever imagine." Now, as far as I can tell, that is not a quote from Harry Potter. In any case, whoever wrote this can't spell. Powerful is spelt with only one L. Moving on up from the entry hall, we come to one of many renditions of Dumbledore's office you'll find in LEGO Harry Potter sets. The decoration here is pretty generic with not too many recognisable features. Lurking in the back we have Dumbledore's chair, which looks pretty special and regal. Sitting in front of that we have Dumbledore's desk where he does his email and stuff. Here you'll find a copy of the Daily Prophet complete with magnifying glass, and a mysterious crystal ball containing a trans-orange element. It could be a crystal ball for Dumbledore to do some divination on the side, or my favourite theory that this is a cage containing Fawkes the Phoenix. The magical instruments we come to expect of Dumbledore's office are all missing. Instead, this looks somewhat more like a potions laboratory. The shelves are not designed to be removed, and I had to do this with care, but it does give us a good chance to take a closer look. There are various jars and flasks containing who knows what. We even get this rather nice green frog. But these shelves do hide a little secret which you might not know about unless you've actually built this set. Hidden deep inside where you wouldn't normally see, you'll find two secret objects. A printed 1x2 tile of a letter, and a small horn or tooth. Methinks that might be a secret basilisk fang. Mounted high above Dumbledore's desk, you'll find the goblin-made sword of Gryffindor. This is a really cool chromed LEGO element, and I love the way LEGO incorporated the logo into the hilt. The Sword of Gryffindor is not the only artifact from Hogwarts founder Godric Gryffindor on display in Dumbledore's office. You'll have to take my word for it, but this is the sorting hat. It's on display within this turret piece which is mounted high above the castle. The sorting hat first appeared in set number 4701, Sorting Hat from 2001. It contains a neat feature that allows you to play the Wizarding World equivalent of Spin the Bottle. Well, if you're sure, better be Gryffindor! LEGO kinda cheated with this set and just used a generic wizard's hat. Fast forward to 2010 and we still had the same LEGO element, but this time with a face printed on it. Trust me, that is a face even though it doesn't really look like one. But by far the best recreation of the sorting hat so far came from the 75954 Hogwarts Great Hall set from 2018. The sorting hat came to be about 1,000 years ago and began as a normal hat belonging to Godric Gryffindor. Godric Gryffindor, Salazar Slytherin, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Helga Hufflepuff were thinking ahead. Wondering who would sort students when they were all dead, Gryffindor pulled his hat from his head, and along with the other founders they enchanted it with their combined intelligence. That's how the sorting hat sorts students according to the preferences of the founders. Now, while it is very cool to have Dumbledore's office in this set, the designers missed one important fact. This is entirely the wrong part of the building. With that in mind, let's move along to what I believe is the marble staircase tower. Now, it's important to understand that this is not an accurate recreation of Hogwarts. To illustrate that point perfectly, you can see the headmaster's tower protruding from the roof. Within these three turrets you would find Dumbledore's office and his living accommodation, although that's never shown in the movies. The marble staircase tower, which is somewhat misleadingly named, is also topped out with one of these large roof pieces. It's the same element you saw keeping the rain off of the sorting hat. This tower incorporates 4 levels, including interiors that we'll take a look at in just a second. The exterior architecture on this set is consistent throughout. We've got the same lancet windows and stickered stonework panels. Here you can also see one of the connecting pieces which helps to hold the whole build together. These do pivot, which gives you plenty of display options. There's a more decorative piece of connecting wall around the other side. The next 2 levels use pretty much the same elements and are almost identical. The most notable difference is this ledge which powers an interactive function inside. At the very top of the tower we have the Owlery. Technically speaking, this should be in the West Tower. This includes 3 beautifully printed owl elements. The white one at the back is clearly intended to be Hedwig. I guess this grey chap to the left might be Errol, but I don't necessarily recognise the brown one. Maybe he's just one of the Hogwarts owls. What is easily recognisable is the owl poop. Moving down a level we come to the Gryffindor common room, which should be in Gryffindor Tower. This is themed on Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The biggest clue as to what this room is the badly stickered Gryffindor house crest. Another clue lies hidden away in the fireplace at the back of the room. Here we find a stickered tile with Sirius Black's face on it appearing from the fire. Also within the Gryffindor common room you'll find a couple of those overstuffed chairs perfect for fireside chats. There's a transparent goblet element for a glass of butterbeer, and I'm pretty sure this is meant to be the Marauders map, but it looks like LEGO may have recycled an earlier printed element. Moving down to the next level we have a minifigure called Gryffindor Knight who hides a little secret. Or at least he does when that sword doesn't get in the way. Hidden away behind the knight is a secret compartment that hides a black book. Sometimes LEGO hide printed elements inside books, but in this case it's completely empty. I'm probably missing some obvious plot line here, but I'm guessing this is going to be Tom Riddle's diary. The knight is an absolutely fantastic minifigure, but we'll take a look at him later when we take a look at the other minifigures. Further hinting that this room may be based on Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, we have a spider. Finally we come to the lowest level of the marble staircase tower, and clearly there's no marble staircase in sight. This room should be located in the dungeons. It is of course the Slytherin common room. You'll notice a pretty obvious clue at the back of the room with the Slytherin house crest. We also have a couple of green snakes and a mysterious magical fire. Slytherins also seem to like butterbeer, and the rumours that they can't read are greatly exaggerated. Here we have a copy of Xenophilius Lovegood's popular publication, The Quibbler. This is a really nice printed 2x2 that also appears in the Burrow set. So we've seen a tower that's greatly tall, let's move on to the Great Hall. So here we have one of the most iconic parts of Hogwarts, the Great Hall. It's not a perfect recreation, but it is pretty decent. There are 5 magnificent triple height windows allowing light to flow into the hall, and another protruding window at the far end. We also have a couple of mounting points here which gives us plenty of options when connecting the castle together. Looking at the Great Hall side on, you'll notice that we've got a stained glass window and the back of the hall is open. We'll have a look around inside in just a second. The other side has a matching stained glass window and a working door with decorative green canopy. Well, we wouldn't want Mr. Filch to get wet whilst fumbling for his keys. The roof of the Great Hall is made up using these matching green plates. It's also, shall we say, rather well ventilated. There are some considerable gaps at the side, and also some more gaps at the top. It's also really going to hurt my OCD when I watch this back on a 4K TV and realise that the plate in the middle is upside down. Other features are picked out by black cheese slopes and dark grey tiles. I'm pretty sure the upper level of the Great Hall has some skylight windows, so that would explain these features. We also of course have some turrets to recreate the iconic roofline. Finally we reach the interior of the Great Hall, which is a little unconventional. The floor plan has been extended beyond the footprint of the Great Hall to allow for these 2 large benches. These are set up for a delicious feast, and foodstuffs include a roast turkey, a golden platter complete with berries and a croissant, a rather fancy looking cake or trifle, and no less than 6 of these gold chalice elements. Over in the back of the Great Hall we have the headmaster's lectern, which is sadly missing the owl. It does however have a couple of torches with these trans-orange fire elements. And at the back of the hall we have some decorative pikes. House colours adorn the roof to the Great Hall thanks to these stickered elements. Representing only 2 of the houses, we have a green banner for Slytherin and a red banner for Gryffindor. Mounted in the roof we have a revolving chandelier, but it's a shame that we don't have any enchanted floating candles. One feature I really do like about the Great Hall is the stained glass windows. With a bit of backlighting, these look absolutely fantastic. This final tower is perhaps one of the least recognisable features of Hogwarts. You could be forgiven for saying this is the Astronomy Tower because there is a telescope mounted on the top. But in truth the Astronomy Tower is the tallest tower at Hogwarts, and this is not it. The exterior styling is slightly different with some of these darker tan bricks. We also have a crossed pair of pikes, and the familiar castle-like crenellations at the top of the tower. This is a 2-level structure with some more interior features. As this set is now about a decade old, I don't have LEGO's original notes on what was included inside. I'm not absolutely certain, but I think this is going to be the Vanishing Cabinet flanked with 2 flames. It also has working doors and can be opened up. Somewhat morbidly, I was hoping to find a dead bird inside. An apple would have done equally as well. It's a well constructed build, and the jumper plate in the middle holds the doors at just the right angle. Moving up to the first floor we have this rather interesting bookcase. These books are locked away behind glass sliding doors. That would mean this is a restricted area of the library, and that would explain the Harry Potter with Invisibility Cloak minifigure and Argus Filch complete with his lantern. The locking mechanism in place here is quite unusual. The key is non-functional but self-explanatory. The use of handcuffs is a little less obvious. Rather than this being some elaborate way to lock away the books, it actually just provides a sprung mechanism for the doors, and these usually fall off. Once inside we have 3 LEGO book elements representing the restricted content of the library. I'm not going to pull these out because there's nothing inside. But while we're here it is interesting to look at this spring mechanism. Finally, on the top of the tower we have the rooftop section, which may or may not be intended as the Astronomy Tower. We also have a visitor in the form of this generic LEGO rat. The telescope is mounted on a ratchet, which gives it some manoeuvrability. It also has transparent studs representing the eyepiece and the lens, and a little lever for manoeuvrability. So having completed our tour of the interior and exterior of Hogwarts, let's put it all back together. This is such a beautiful set, but we are missing something very important. What about the minifigures? So finally, here we have all 10 minifigures from the 4842 Hogwarts Castle set from 2010. Minerva McGonagall, Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, Professor Flitwick, Argus Filch, Lord Voldemort, Albus Dumbledore, Professor Snape, and of course those dastardly Dementors. Starting out with possibly the most desirable minifigure from this set, we have Professor Minerva McGonagall, Order of Merlin First Class. Now she does look familiar, and in fact we've had a more recent version of this minifigure, not only in the Advent calendar most recently, but also in the 2018 Hogwarts Great Hall. As you can see, the robes are pretty similar, except in the older version she does wear a skirt piece rather than the legs which were introduced more recently. The facial expression I would describe as stern but kind, but it's definitely Professor McGonagall. It's a great print. She also has one of these green witch's hats on, which was replaced with a black hat in the more recent versions. That is a really nice element there. And of course we don't have an expression around the back. She is carrying this black wand, which is not the new style wand, it's just one of these LEGO sticks or canes I would say, and that is in the black colour, which is absolutely perfect. The printing on the minifigure is superb. As you can see here, we have a printed skirt piece and also a torso piece here, and the continuity is very good. We also have this really nice metallic brooch around the neck. Let's see, we don't have any printing around the back. I'm not sure if we were printing backs of minifigures back then, but we do have this kind of papery cape. She's fantastic, and that is our 2010 Professor McGonagall. From most desirable, we move on to undesirable number 1. This is of course Harry James Potter, and a very common minifigure indeed. He is carrying his, I guess this would be a firebolt, or it might be a Nimbus 2000. Yeah, it's basically just a broomstick with one of these pieces on. And then he does have the brown wand, which again is just one of these stick pieces. Let's put that to one side, and yeah, he's exactly what you expect from Harry Potter. We do have the long size legs, as we did back then, because we didn't have the shorter bendable legs, and then the Gryffindor house colours there on the uniform, really nice metallics there on the badge and on the trimming around the bottom of the sweater, and around the back. Yes, of course we do have printing even back then. Yeah, you can see the creases in the back of the sweater, and of course the gold and red trim along the bottom. The facial expression is, yep, archetypal Harry Potter. We've got the lightning-shaped scar there, the spectacles, and we do have a slightly more disconcerted Harry Potter around the back, and he is topped off with his bushy hair. He's Harry Potter, he's worth practically nothing, but he's awesome. I almost forgot, of course Harry does have another accessory. We have the invisibility cloak. As you can see, he's wearing it here. Okay, I'm joking, let's fade in Harry. Joking aside, this actually does a really good job of obfuscating Harry, especially against this white background. The limitations of my camera and your screen probably don't do this justice, but the invisibility cloak does have a really nice iridescent sheen and really reflects light beautifully. Next we have Muggle-born Hermione Jean Granger, who later goes on to become the Minister of Magic, but that's way beyond Hogwarts times. She does have one of these brown wands. These are very boring, and pretty much she is exactly the same printed minifigure as Harry Potter. She's got the same black plain legs and the same Hogwarts or Gryffindor school uniform on there. In fact, these earlier Hermione minifigures are pretty generic. The only thing you've got really to tell you this might be Hermione is the face, which doesn't really look that much like Hermione, and then the hair, which is yeah, kind of plaited like this. It's or braided and held back. I think that is a pretty standard minifigure hairpiece, and definitely not something that screams Hermione. Let's see if we've got another expression around the back. We do, of course, have the disapproving look we often associate with Miss Hermione Jean Granger. And there she is. I don't think these Hermione minifigures are great, but you know, it is a throwback to 2010 and a great addition to the set. Next we have one of only 3 minifigures depicting Professor Filius Flitwick, the Half-Goblin teacher. He is carrying one of these brown wands, which is nearly as big as he is and totally inappropriate. He also has short black legs on here. These are the child legs because he is Half-Goblin, he's not very tall. And then we have this magnificent torso print. He's got a shirt and a bow tie with a vest and a jacket on over the top. There is no printing around the back, just like Professor McGonagall. Printing seems to be at a premium at this stage in LEGO's development. But then we do have this fantastic facial print. I love the bushy moustache. I love it a lot more than the bushy hair. We also have these silver rimmed spectacles. You can see in the light there, these are metallic prints. And around the back, no alternate expression. We do get alternate expressions with the later versions of Professor Flitwick. But the hair is a travesty. That just doesn't suit him at all. Yeah, not good. But overall, I really do like this Professor Filius Flitwick minifigure. This miserable looking chap is Albus Filch, the caretaker at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. In fact, he's been doing that since 1968. He is a squib, which means he can't do magic, and he's got a couple of accessories here. Firstly, he's got a lantern for seeing around in the dark, trying to find students out of bed, and he's also got a key, presumably for getting into the different parts of the castle. He does have another accessory, which I'm just gonna grab. We have this cute little fellow, or cute little girl. She is Mrs. Norris, of course Filch's cat, who keeps a lookout for him and then runs off to find him when students are doing things they shouldn't do, or if Peeves is up to mischief. The printing here is great. We've got these black pants on here with the exclusive print showing the keys on the leg, and then a brown belt. It's not often LEGO print this part of the pants, but that looks great. And then finally we also have his kind of scruffy shirt and tie ensemble with the vest underneath and the longer jacket on top. Let's see, do we have some printing around the back? We do not, but we do have this long hairpiece, very scruffy as you'd expect, and no alternate expression. Let's take a closer look at that expression. Yeah, it is very dour, unshaven, and yeah, he looks as miserable as you would expect. That is Albus Filch. He's an exclusive to this set and an awesome minifigure. Next we have Tom Marvolo Riddle, also known as Lord Voldemort, you know who, he who must not be named, or the Dark Lord. He is arguably the most dangerous dark wizard of all time, and he has a massive wand to go with that. Yeah, this is a white wand, which is perfect for Voldemort's wand. And then we also have a perfect expression here. We have the two slits for the nose, because he doesn't really have a nose. Must smell terrible. And then the dark eyes and those yellow teeth, which look really grim. The legs are black and non-printed. These are standard LEGO legs. And then we have a print here for the robes over the top. You can just see there is some green printing on there, just to give the sense of creases within the robes. We also have a cape, which is the papery type, and there is no printing around the back. Now, in some versions of Lord Voldemort, I've definitely seen him wearing one of the skirt pieces, and that would seem to be more appropriate given that he often wears the long robes, but we've definitely gone for legs here. He is one of the earlier 2010 versions, and yeah, a very passable Voldemort. This dapper fellow is Professor Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore, Order of Merlin First Class, and then a bunch of other qualifications. He has the Elder Wand here, which is a pretty standard LEGO part, and of course Dumbledore wielded that wand between 1945 and 1997 when he was disarmed by Professor Snape. The character here, let's just take a look at this. So we have plain sand blue legs on there, nothing special. Might have expected a skirt piece down there, but there is some really nice printing on this torso, and we're going to have to pretty much disassemble Dumbledore to get to it. So here we have what looks like a vest underneath the robes, but some really nice printing there. You can see the metallics shining in the light. Something down here that almost looks like a mandala or some kind of belt. And around the back we have yet more printing. Yep, there is no blank back here. We have a kind of hood at the back with some silver embroidery, and then this really nice scroll work at the sides. Now let's take a look at this beard and hairpiece. These work together really nicely. So we've got this long beard here, which isn't tied, so it's definitely the older version of Dumbledore. And then the beard and the hair actually meet together quite nicely. We get quite a cohesive look here. The hair is very long, as you'd expect with Dumbledore, and I want to show you the expressions underneath. So we're going to have to lose the beard for a moment. Sorry about that, Dumbledore. We have two expressions. This one here, which shows a kind of kindly looking Dumbledore, complete with his gold rimmed specs. And I believe those are picked out in metallics, which is very nice. And then we have an alternate expression, even more smiley, looks a little bit tired there, but without the specs. So that, as I put him back together, is a fantastic 2010 Dumbledore. He is one of the more desirable minifigures. I believe you have to pay at least $5 for one of these. And there he is, Dumbledore. Moving on from Dumbledore, we have the guy what killed him. This is Professor Severus Snape, who was Potions Master between 1981 and 1996, served a brief spell as Defense Against the Dark Arts Professor, if you excuse the pun, between 1996 and 1997, and an even briefer spell as Headmaster between 97 and 98. He does have his black wand, which is just a standard LEGO wand, and that matches his outfit perfectly. He's got the plain black legs on here, and then a printed torso piece which shows I guess a hint of a white shirt underneath, with the vest, very nicely printed in black with just a little bit of grey to pick out the details, and then the robes kind of slung over the shoulders. We do have a cape. It's a papery cape. I prefer the really nicely fabricated capes, but this is a papery one. And then we have a great facial expression showing that Snape signature sneer. And let's see if we do have another expression. We do not. Instead, we have the kind of greasy hair you would expect to see with Professor Snape, which comes down to his shoulders, maybe just a little bit lower. That is actually a really nice hairpiece. But there you have it. That is Professor Severus Snape. Finally, for the 4842 minifigures, we have a pair of Dementors. These guys are notoriously fragile, so I'm going to avoid overhandling them. They both stand on clear transparent discs, which gives the illusion that they're floating. Underneath the cape is a kind of robotic skeleton, and in fact these are the pieces here where the body connects to the legs, where these tend to snap over time. The capes have ragged edges and really do a good job of making these things look like Dementors. I wouldn't call this a face, but there is a printed minifigure head. You can just see a little bit of printed detail, including the mouth which would administer the Dementor's kiss. There's a little bit more printing around the back, maybe showing where the flesh is coming away from the Dementor's skull. And then finally on top we have the hood which goes over the minifigure head and completes the illusion of the Dementor. As fragile as these may be, I really do think that LEGO nailed it here, recreating the look and feel of the Dementor. Here's me about to wrap things up, and I almost forgot about this little fellow. He makes me want to yell "Pia totum locomotor!" But clearly he's a minifigure and that won't work. So this is the Gryffindor Knight Statue, who is far too good to be tucked away inside the castle, where I keep forgetting about him. He does come with a weapon to protect Hogwarts, and that is in the form of this kind of metallic silver sword here. Very standard LEGO element and not nearly as fancy as the sword of Gryffindor. But what is fancy is this helmet element. On the top there is a hole, so I guess you could put a plume in the top there, or a feather, or even a LEGO Friends bow if you wished. But he does have this visor. You can actually see the black minifigure head sticking out through the visor. And then there's some more detailing here around the mouth. I guess it would allow a real knight to breathe. Take that off, you can see there's a black minifigure head underneath. Now the core elements of the minifigure are pretty standard. Let's just take these other pieces off. As you can see here, we've got a plain grey set of legs. They do move, and a plain grey torso with dark grey hands. Everything here is pretty normal, but we do get this fancy kind of Civil War-esque chest plate to protect the knight. That actually looks really nice in this kind of metallic silver colour. But overall, this is a really fancy minifigure. Very, very nice indeed. And yeah, he usually gets tucked away inside Hogwarts and forgotten, but he is well worth a look because he's really, really nice. So that was set number 4842, the 2010 Hogwarts Castle from LEGO Harry Potter. It's been so much fun rebuilding and rediscovering this magnificent LEGO Harry Potter set. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Just like the more recent Hogwarts sets, which can be connected together to make a larger model, this 2010 version also has an expansion pack. This little treasure, released in 2011, is 4867 Hogwarts. If you'd like to see a review of this set for the next Harry Potter video, do let me know in the comments. Or maybe, just maybe, you'd prefer to see me unbox, speed build and review this mint in the box 4708 Hogwarts Express from 2001. I just landed this after an expensive bidding war on eBay and I can't decide whether to open it or not. Before I go, I did just want to mention that there are rumours of new Harry Potter sets coming out in 2020. These include the 40412 Hagrid and Buckbeak Brickhead's twin pack, which sounds awesome. Needless to say, if the rumours are true, you'll definitely be seeing the new Harry Potter 2020 set reviews on my channel. So don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more awesome LEGO content. That's all I've got time for right now, so thanks a million for checking out this LEGO Harry Potter restoration, speed build and review video. Stay safe and we'll see you next time.